Hi, everyone. You're listening to Radio Cherry Bombe, and I'm your host, Kerry Diamond, coming to you from Newsstand Studios at Rockefeller Center in the heart of New York City. We have a very special 2-part episode for you today. I'm kind of pinching myself because I am talking to 3 total superstars, Julia Roberts, Ayo Edebiri, and Padma Lakshmi. Julia and Ayo joined me from their press tour in London to talk about their new film, After the Hunt, directed by the brilliant Luca Guadagnino. You know Luca from movies like Challengers, I Am Love, and Call Me By Your Name. And of course, you know Julia from Pretty Woman, Notting Hill, Erin Brockovich, so many classics. And Ayo is our beloved Chef Sydney on The Bear. Julia, Ayo, and I talk about mentorship, the making of the movie, and birthday cake. Happy belated to Julia, by the way, whose birthday was last week. After the Hunt is a riveting film with incredible performances by Julia, Ayo, and the rest of the cast. It's the kind of movie that you will need to discuss the second you walk out of the theater. In the second half of the show, Padma stops by to talk about her brand new cookbook, which drops tomorrow. It's titled Padma's All-American, Tales, Travels, and Recipes from Taste the Nation and Beyond. Stay tuned for Julia, Ayo, and Padma in just a minute. A little housekeeping. Early bird tickets are on sale for Cherry Bombe's next Jubilee Conference, which is happening in New York City on Saturday, April 25th. Jubilee is an amazing day of connection and community and great food and drink. It's also an incredible day for networking. Over the years, folks have gotten book deals at Jubilee, met their literary agents, been cast in ads, and one brand, Talea Beer, even got a distribution deal with Whole Foods at Jubilee. Oh, and Kristen Kish, she met her lawyer at Jubilee. I almost forgot about that one. But more importantly, over the 11 years that we've been hosting Jubilee, thousands of folks have made important connections and friendships. And that's the reason we started Jubilee in the first place. To learn more, head to cherrybombe.com. Early bird tickets are available through December 31st. If you're a Bomb Squad member or paid Substack subscriber, check your inbox for a special discount. Also, if you're a Shop My Creator, you can share an affiliate link for Jubilee. Use Snapshop or the link creator on Shop My, or just snag the link in our show notes. Any Jubilee questions? Email us at jubilee@cherrybombe.com. We'd love to see you next year in New York City. Now, let's check in with our first guests, Julia Roberts and Ayo Edebiri. Hi, Julia. Hi, Ayo. How are you?
Kerry, good. How are you?
I'm in New York. All is good. How's London?
It is perfect. Well, how would we know? But it is perfect London weather outside. It is cool and gray and wanting to be greeted.
Yes, a bit balmy in the hotel room, but...
Have you been able to get out and get any good food?
We've had good food, but we've not been out. Have you been out? We have not.
Not I.
No.
Not I.
And Ayo, happy belated birthday.
Thank you very much.
Did you get to celebrate?
I did. I kept getting little surprises, which was nice. And I had some nice dinners with some nice friends.
Yeah.
One next to me.
Ayo, what's your birthday cake of choice?
That's a good question.
Yes.
What is it?
I really like strawberry shortcake that you get at an Asian bakery. They're so fluffy and light, the cake. And then I think the cream is also really fluffy, but not too sweet. Asian desserts are good at the not too sweet part, like a Japanese or like a Korean bakery.
Do you like the strawberry shortcake where they kind of do biscuit style?
No, a really fluffy shortcake, plain sort of cake, really fluffy cream, and then like strawberries in the middle. We do another layer of cake. We close it off.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that. Or I like
Challenge
a donut.
accepted.
I just like getting a donut on my birthday. I think is always really
donuts
fun
are
too.
good.
Yeah.
A donut is always an option. Julia, your birthday's next. What's your preferred birthday cake?
My birthday is next. I love the classics. I don't like fruit in cake, but I am going to make you a strawberry shortcake.
No, but like a chocolate.
A good chocolate cake or even like a good lemon cake.
Ooh, yeah, that's nice.
You know what I'm very good at, I've discovered? I'm making carrot cake.
Okay, but everybody makes a big fuss about your banana bread.
I know. I'm trying to steer the ship to carrot cake, and it just keeps going right back to banana bread.
Good luck. But people know.
I don't know. I don't even eat it, but I ate this, and I could not believe how good it was because everyone that I served it to, they were really going on about it. And I was like, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We're going to need your banana bread recipe and your carrot cake recipe.
I will give it to you, but you can't tell anybody where you got it.
Speaking of cooking and baking, I'm so intrigued by the fact that you all lived together at Julia's house for a few weeks before making the movie. Camp Julia, so to speak.
Does keep getting longer.
It's getting longer. Well, you can hardly call it Camp Julia because my entire family, well, I think one of my sons was gone.
Yeah.
But everybody was in the house. We were all together, which was part of the design for me, selfishly, wanting this new group of people that were going to come into my life so completely to share with them the completeness of my life. My husband, my children, my pets, my furniture, my cooking, how much I like to sleep at night, whatever it was, and vice versa. Because I think when you're in somebody's house, you are able to put a lot of things down that you don't even know you're carrying around. Day after day in that kind of environment, I think we all were at our most relaxed, which as an artist makes you the most open and creative, I think. So that kind of started us off in this great, happy way.
Is this something you've done before for past movies?
I've never done it before, and I've only done one movie since, and I tried to do it, and it didn't work. It's very, very hard to get everyone's schedules prior to a movie to align. So I think it was a lightning strike. I don't know. I mean, we had our hair, makeup, camera tests. We did everything in that period of time. We got a lot of good work accomplished, and it was just really something that I wish I could do on every job.
Ayo, how did you feel when they told you were going to be living at Julia Roberts' house for a little while?
Pretty peachy, not gonna lie. Pretty peachy. I think just being able to be together and start that journey of building a world together with a sort of really privileged intimacy. We really just got to create this space with each other. And that was just so nice. And something that I'm really grateful for. And that you do realize, that's so rare. That's just so rare. And then we went away and I was like, wait, I miss these people.
Yeah.
What? And then, we got to come together, and knowing that we had that, I think there was such a really nice freedom that we had in the work, because we built this kind of net of trust with each other and of play and of also really, digging in with the script and with each other. So it made it, really, really rewarding.
Given how heavy the subject matter is in After the Hunt, how were you able to navigate that living together?
Well, I think that we were able to navigate it more easily, to have a more kind of ferocious approach to what we were doing, because we had created, you were saying at one point something about these safe little pockets inside of ourselves with each other. And I think because we did feel really secure together, being vulnerable, being cruel, being fierce, we knew that at the end of all of those emotions or scenes or days and weeks of shooting, that our friends would still be there for us.
I have to ask, who did all the cooking?
I did and Danny did. I've never washed so many napkins in my life. I couldn't believe at the end of the day, I was like, wow, it is a mess in here.
Mentorship is such a major topic in After the Hunt. I'm curious, what did you two learn from each other on set?
Did we learn?
I don't know, that this lady's probably going to be in my life for the rest of it, I hope. Yeah, a real sense of kinship.
There's something extraordinary at my age to meet a person, especially not just a friend, like a colleague, a work peer, and discover, oh, I didn't realize I had this space inside of me that was waiting for you all this time. That's an extraordinary thing to discover. And it's not to say that we don't make friends throughout our entire life, but to realize, oh, wait, you are the exact shape of this space that I had here. And so learning that about someone else and about myself in this time, everything else, all of this is a bonus round to a discovery like that.
Given how complicated the world is right now, why did you want to make this film?
I think Luca ain't Luca. And I think also the honesty of that complexity. I think sometimes as artists, our job is to imagine. Sometimes it's to reflect. Sometimes it's a bit of both. And I think Luca and his honesty and his really deep, earnest feelings and intentions meeting this script and this beautiful group of people, all of that just felt so right.
Thank you so much to Julia and Ayo. After the Hunt is in theaters now. Let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back with Padma Lakshmi. Cherry Bombe is on Substack. Head to cherrybombe.substack.com. That link is in our show notes to see what we're up to. You can check out stories from our recent Italy issue, snag a recipe from Padma's new cookbook, and get updates on virtual and IRL events, like our upcoming virtual talk with Shop My founder Tiffany Lipinski and our special evening with author and legendary makeup artist Bobby Brown. While you're there, you can subscribe to our free Friday newsletter or our free Saturday baking newsletter. Again, that's cherrybombe.substack.com. I love Substack. I follow and read a lot of Substacks. I love writing for Substack, and I would love for you to follow us. Our next guest is one of the food world's biggest stars. It's Padma Lakshmi. You know her from Taste the Nation, Top Chef, her best-selling books, her great Instagram account. She's here to talk about her newest book, Padma's All-American, Tales, Travels, and Recipes from Taste the Nation and Beyond. Padma gives us a little advice for navigating these complicated times. Padma Lakshmi, welcome back to Radio Cherry Bombe.
Thank you. I'm excited to be in this very special recording studio.
Oh, I remember when we were here last time, I think we talked about Sports
Illustrated. Was it Sports Illustrated?
We did something after that. I forget what it was for, but I don't know. You've been on the show a ton of times. You're one of my absolute favorite people in the world and one of my favorite people to interview.
Thank you. Well, I mean, likewise, and a special kind of shout out to Cherry Bombe, which I think is a singular voice and a beautiful magazine. It's one of the few magazines I still get in print and save, so that says something.
Aw, well, thank you for that. I hope you know how much we appreciate.
I mean, I appreciate the magazine. I appreciate that it exists. I think it's necessary and joyful and kind of a beautiful light in an otherwise bleak landscape at times.
If we have time, we'll talk about that a little bit. But okay, so Mutual Admiration Society, I love you, you love me.
Yes.
But we've got a lot to talk about. So let's get into this.
Let's go.
Monday night. Today is Monday. What the heck are we doing tonight? Tell everybody.
Oh my gosh. Well, Padma's All-American, my new cookbook, is coming out tomorrow as the official launch pub date. I just wanted to do something a little different that was a little more raucous and fun to launch the book tour and launch this book. So I've invited a few of my friends that I really admire who are great New York comedians to come and do some sets. So we're at Symphony Space. If you're around New York City, I'm sure we'll still have tickets. So please come on by. The show starts at 7 p.m. tonight. We're having a great lineup of comedians. It's Michelle Buteau, Ilana Glazer, Jabuki, Youngmi Mayer, Marie Faustin. It's going to be a great night, and I'm going to do a mini set as well. And we're all going to just tell stories of immigrant life and jokes and probably about motherhood and Botox, because immigrants do that too. We just don't make a big deal out of it. And, just have some fun. And then, of course, we will do a mini book talk at the end. That's probably, shorter than most book talks, but I just want everybody to laugh and have fun. It's a celebration of immigrant food, of immigrant life, and I think we all need as much laughter as we can get these days. That was sort of the ethos behind the event, and I want to laugh.
We all need to laugh right now. All right, speaking of laughing, somehow I am involved in this.
Yes!
I'm not a comedian. I'm not an immigrant. What am I doing Monday?
You're a
what am I doing
descendant
tonight?
of an immigrant.
That's true.
Listen, as a white girl, you two are a descendant.
Now first generation.
Yeah, that's fine. I think I wanted to add some food gravitas. And so you were, of course, on the top of that list. Ruth Reichel already gave me a quote, so I didn't feel like I could ask more from her. You're on, you're going to host the event. You're going to introduce everybody. You're going to hopefully, by the way, if you guys have any questions you want answered, just write to Cherry Bombe on their social handles in the comments. If Kerry reads it, maybe she'll read it out loud at Symphony Space and you can get it answered.
You did not think about me for one of the stand-up portions?
Listen, you're the first person on the stage, so if you want to tell a joke or two, I know you've got some up your sleeve.
Oh my God, I have 0 jokes up my sleeve. You're the one who went to stand-up school, which we need to talk about.
I mean,
why did you go to comedy school?
I didn't go to comedy school. There's no school for this, so that's a lie. I mean, I have been doing improv for a couple of years. I mean, I did improv in college. I did improv before I had a kid, mostly after college at UCB. I went through their program and I'm going through their program. I just put myself back in school because I needed to brush up.
So I shouldn't call it comedy school.
No, please don't. People will be cringing. No, it's not comedy school.
Cringe is very in today, just FYI.
Great. Okay. I can't keep up. But I mean, I love comedy and I love stand-up and I have great admiration for it. I think it is the rawest form of creativity because there's nothing between you and the audience. There's a mic. There's maybe blinding lights, which I hate because I always like to see the faces of the people in the audience. Over the years, just by coincidence or serendipity, I managed to make friendships with really great comedians, you know, like Michelle Buteau, like Chelsea Handler, like Chris Rock and Ali Wong and, you know, so many others. And I really admire them and, you know, Mike Birbiglia as well and Hassan Minhaj. By the way, I am nowhere at that level, nor am I even calling myself a comedian. I'm something adjacent. I'm like between stand-up and The Moth. The Moth is also an organization that I love and I've been involved with for the last, 17 years. I wrote the foreword to their wonderful book, How to Tell a Story. So
I love The Moth so much.
Yeah. So if you don't have that book and you want to be a better storyteller, not even in your writing, just at cocktail parties, that's a great book to get. And it's a great organization to support as well.
You are doing stand-up. I've been to your stand-up nights at the Bell House. It's been hilarious. Yes. What made you want to take it beyond just being a funny person and being friends with comedians to actually being on stage and doing stand-up?
I think I was so burnt out creatively and intellectually after all those seasons on Top Chef that I really wanted to shake up my life. So I left Top Chef.
And your persona on Top Chef was not, she's the funny one.
No, it was not. Yeah, exactly. It was not what you call the one of being a jokester. But that, that's not what's required to do that job well.
You were the pack your knives and go lady.
I was, yeah.
So much more.
Yeah, but it's fine. Like, I'm very proud of the legacy I helped build with Top Chef. I just was frankly over it. I don't think that's hard to understand. I was there for 17 years and everybody could see I have no poker face, so I don't need to say much. You can tell what I'm feeling at any given moment. I do love all the alumni from Top Chef. I'm still very close to many of them, as you know. But I wanted to shake myself up, and I wanted to sort of give myself a jump start creatively. And I thought, what would be the most scary thing that I could do that was also in my control? As an actor, you need somebody else to cast you in something, a director or whatever. And in many mediums, unlike writing, you need other people to collaborate. And that's one thing I love about television is that it's this big collaborative process. Filmmaking is that. And that's certainly what it was on Top Chef, but even more so on Taste the Nation and now with this new show, which we'll get to. But I just wanted to do something. I felt like I was dead inside. Not dead inside, but creatively just stagnant. And I hate that. For the first time in my life, I had some freedom of time and space, and my kid was older, and I could make sure she got to bed and then go out and do a set at Caveat.
I've met so many comedians through you, and I didn't realize how many nights they go out and just do kind of like secret sets in these places. Were you out doing secret sets?
I mean, not as many as I'd like, but I've also at the same time been a guest performer with different improv groups like Rat Scraps and Ass Cat and Second City.
Rat Scraps and Ass Cat.
I love the names and other ones. Basically, you go there and you tell a story, but it has to be true and it has to be in the moment because you get a word prompt from the audience and you have to go with what you hear. It can't be something pre-written in your head. I like that frisson. It's the same reason I like live television. It makes your brain go into emergency mode and reach for things in your subconscious that you wouldn't if you had time to edit yourself on the page or rehearse. And I needed that. I think my well is deep, but it had just felt dry. And so I really wanted to, again, just, that thing that those pads, those electric pads that they put on someone when they're like almost dying.
Oh, yeah, the movie Clear.
Yeah. Yeah, I wanted to do that for my brain and my creativity. And it was something that I was always curious about. I had these comedy shows at the Bell House where I would just host it with Bowen Yang or Roy Wood Jr. or Matt, your show or whatever. And so I did that, and I didn't really tell any jokes. I just introduced the comedians and stuff. And I've done that for 5 years. We also did that at Dynasty Typewriter, and we've sold out every time in LA, Dynasty Typewriter. 2 years ago, I wasn't even sure until the day of whether I was going to do it. I had it in my mind, and I had some stories in my pocket, but they were not very polished. And I just sort of tried it, and I did a 4.5-minute set. And then I did a 6.5, 7-minute set. And then the next year I did an 8-minute set. And then I did like a 15, 16-minute set. And so I now have about probably 18, 20 minutes of material.
A lot of it's about Krishna.
Yeah. Some of it is.
She provides a wealth of material.
Oh my God. Every day there's something new. And, I have to just parse it out and see what she feels okay about. But she doesn't go to my comedy sets, so, she doesn't know.
So
but
it's on a little too late. Has Instagram helped? I feel like people didn't really know how funny you were until you started letting loose a little bit on Instagram.
Yeah, I think it did help because for so many years, the version or the slice of me that people got to see on Top Chef was so limited compared to what you got if you were at a book talk with me or at my house for a dinner party, or you saw it in late night interviews. When I would go, say on Colbert or The Daily Show or something, or Jimmy Fallon, you would see that. And I've always been kind of doing it on the sly. Like I was on Whose Line Is It Anyway years ago. And every time it reruns, I get a flurry of emails like, oh, I didn't know you did this. So I've always been doing it for myself. I didn't think it ascended to anything professional, and it still doesn't, by the way. Like I've made mid 3 figures, as a comedian. I frame some of the checks because they're like $100. It's cute.
Got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
Let's talk about this book.
Okay.
It's out tomorrow. I know you have worked for so long on this, and I know
God.
how much the TV show Taste the Nation meant to you personally.
Yeah.
Tell us about this book.
Taste the Nation, the TV show, started off as this book idea, and even the book proposal for it, which I sent to my editor over 7 years ago, was called Padma's All-American. So the title has stayed the same. I worked on the proposal, did a whole bunch of research, went down all kinds of rabbit holes on Pew Research and Migration Policy Institute and all this stuff. And I showed this proposal to my producing partner, who was developing a show on immigration with me separately. That came out of my work as an advocate for the ACLU on immigration rights. All this stuff that I'd been carrying around and that I had learned, really, I wanted to put it somewhere in my professional life because I thought it was valid. And then when he saw that proposal, he said, we should merge our show with this idea because you've spent the last, umpteen years on TV talking about food. So it is the language that people are used to hearing you speak. And it's also a great icebreaker. It's a great way in to start with and then go to topics that are much more serious and maybe more difficult. That's how Taste the Nation was born. So at that point, I got so busy with the show. And like I've said to you before, I want to say 6 or 7 people turned it down. And I would come back with my little suitcase and Krishna would be like, did you sell it? And I'm like, I don't know.
I remember. And we were so shocked because at that point in your career, a lot of us thought you could get anything greenlit.
No one can get anything greenlit. Maybe if you're Tom Cruise or Nicole Kidman. I'm a brown woman on television and I know my place in the world. That doesn't mean I try to ascend that position or grow larger than it. I have been one of the most well-known women in food around the world. Like Top Chef is in 175 countries. I'm about to publish my 8th book. And yet it took me until I was 50 years old almost before anyone would let me make all the decisions. Once I got that opportunity, I wasn't going to squander it. And I was going to make the show that I wanted to exist in the world. However well it did, I wanted to feel proud of it. And I do. I think that show was beautiful. I think it showed a lot of people my taste level and my perspective and how I would do things. I think it really did take me to another level in my career. You know, I was always that person. Even when I published my first cookbook in 1999, I mean, I cringe when I think about the title, Easy Exotic. Again, cringe may be a good thing, but I do cringe when I hear that.
I'm guessing you were pushed into that.
Yeah, it was a publisher's idea, but it did encapsulate what I was trying to do and what I'm still trying to do, which is make the unfamiliar more approachable. To say, hey, to my readers or my audience, there's a world of wonderful food out there. It's not as other as you think it is. It's kind of more similar to you. It just feels foreign or, you know, different to you. But let me show you how it'll enrich your life. So the things I was doing in a very small and humble way in that book are the same things that I was doing in, say, Tangy Tart, Hot and Sweet, and also certainly in the Spice Encyclopedia. You know, I've just grown hopefully as a writer and as a thinker about food and people, that I can do it in a deeper way that's evolving with our times. It's funny, we reissued Tangy Tart, Hot and Sweet,
which is a great cookbook.
Thank you.
For people who don't realize how good your recipes are, they need to get that book.
Thank you. That book came out in 2007. And then it was reissued 14 years later in 2021. And I was all prepared to write a new introduction. And I read the introduction and I was like, I wouldn't really change anything I would say, which felt vindicating, but also like, don't have anything new to say. You know, like I also have a touch of like Groucho Marx.
Something new to say.
No,
Come
but
on.
I mean, so we reissued that book. And the funny thing is that Apple picked that as one of their best new books of the year. And I was like,
great.
Somebody should tell them it's not a new book, but okay, I'll take it.
Taste the Nation comes out as a TV show, so important, so timely. Things have gotten harder, which is so shocking.
I know.
I'm so happy the cookbook is coming out now because we kind of need part 2 of that work that you started. Tell me about the title, Padma's All-American. You're definitely pushing some buttons there.
Well, I mean, I realize that, but I don't think I am.
In the picture.
In the picture, you know, the jacket has me in front of a giant American flag. All the pictures that you see in Padma's All-American, other than the still lifes of the recipes, were taken on the road. You know, for the last 5 years, I mean, before I quit Top Chef, I was doing both shows and I was on the road, literally road by road, community by community for 8 months of the year. You know, we'd always travel to a new town for Top Chef and park it there for like 6 weeks and then do the finale somewhere else. But also with Taste the Nation, I was in a different place. We embed ourselves for a whole week in every community for every episode. I really got to meet Americans of all kinds, gas station attendants, dance teachers, Michelin-starred chefs, the gamut. It gave me hope in our country, and it showed me how beautiful our country is, how textured and diverse, and how that's a great thing. That is not a thing to thwart or discourage. And the people who are threatened by that are just ignorant because they benefit from it too. And yes, it's a much more dire and dark period with ICE. I mean, I kind of just don't know what else to say. I hear stories of people dying in ICE detention, of women being raped or forced to have abortions or forced to be sterilized or all, you know, every permutation of that. And it's just feeding the private prison industrial complex. And it's just so nefarious. Like the people who are forwarding that policy actually invest in those detention centers. So it's about as dirty as it's possible to be. I had to really be disciplined and tune a lot of that out because I didn't want this book to be reactionary. I wanted it to be a positive thing. That was the ethos of the show too, which was, you know, I was tired of getting on my soapbox and wagging my finger. I did that a lot at ACLU rallies and op-eds for the New York Times or the Washington Post, but I really wanted it to be just, you know, not tell you what to think, but show you maybe how your thinking could change, whether it's teaching Americans that Puerto Rico is a really American, like, I mean, we call it a territory, but it's actually a colony of America and they pay taxes and they don't get to vote and Bad Bunny is American, P.S. Many people don't know that.
The Puerto Rico episode is one of my favorites.
Me too.
Taste the Nation.
Yeah. You know, that's why this cookbook has a lot more prose in it. I mean, it has, I think, 125 recipes all told. I can't remember now. every chapter, between the chapters, there's a long form essay, which is a profile about a person I met on the road who is an immigrant or a child of an immigrant who moved me in some way, whether it was the origin story of what brought them to America or what happened to them once they got here or what they faced from their families and why this country is so important to them. And it is a celebration of everything that's right with our country. And so I wanted it to be a positive thing. I hope that people who don't think like me will pick it up. And I'm sorry if you're pissed off that I am in front of the flag. It's my flag too. I pledged allegiance to it every day in school with my hand on my heart. I've paid a shit ton of taxes in this country. I have given hundreds of Americans employment through my shows and my other business endeavors. And I am just as American as everybody else, including the President of the United States and Stephen Miller and Stephen Bannon. And I don't care if you don't think I am. I am. And I'm claiming that flag as mine because it is. And it's everybody's. And that's why it's called Padma's All-American, because it's not just that I'm American, it's that this is my all-American America and American food. And it's not apple pie or meatloaf. It is, but it's not just that.
Amen, sister. All right. I feel crazy asking you about a recipe now after that, but we do need to talk about a recipe.
The food is good. It's yummy.
Of course it is. You are one of the best home cooks I know.
Thank you.
I know it's hard to pick just one, but pick one recipe that's especially important to you.
No, geez. Let me think.
I'm sure everyone's going to ask you the same question.
Well, I mean, Thanksgiving's coming up. If you want some great sides.
The rice stuffing.
Oh, yeah, that's a great recipe. That's the Mi-Ling Wong, who is a friend of mine and who was a consultant that we relied very heavily on when I had a fine jewelry company. She makes that recipe for Thanksgiving every year, and it'll be very familiar to Chinese people or Chinese Americans. It's beautiful. It has Chinese sausage and mushrooms, and it's savory and some chicken broth, and it's very easy to make. It's very forgiving, and it's so yummy. She makes it as Thanksgiving dressing. I actually just make it all year round when it gets cold. I just make a little cucumber salad on the side of it, and that's all you need.
Comfort food.
Yeah, you can also add dried shrimps. I say that, I think, in the notes. I just left them out to make it more approachable. And that was the real hat trick. That was the really important thing that I was worried about a lot with the recipes. I had to toe this very fine line between preserving the essence of what made that recipe beloved by the community from which it came, but also writing it and developing it in a way that would make it more accessible for someone who didn't grow up eating it to make even on a weekday. Not every recipe in that book is a weekday recipe, like the fateh batinjan, which is this beautiful 7-layer eggplant dip that my friend Kamal, who's Lebanese, gave me. That is not a weekday project. I call it Ramadan eggplant because you need a special occasion like that to make it. There are other recipes that are weekday meals or weekday dishes, like the suya blackened corn. And that is a mishmash of a Nigerian recipe that's normally served with grilled meat. But I use the suya spice, which I cracked the code of. Nobody would share their recipe with me. And I was like, you know what? My nose is a bloodhound and so is my palate, so I can suss this out. And it's pretty close. In India, I grew up having grilled corn on the streets when I would visit my grandparents. So I just do the same blackened corn. It's basically just putting the corn cob over your flame of the stove or grill if you have it, and then just putting the spice with butter, and that's it. And it's beautiful. That would be great and easy to serve. There's a squash recipe that's calabasa con mojo, which is a Cuban recipe that Ana Sofia Paliaz showed me in Miami. She works with the Miami Freedom Project, I think it's called, and she and her sister had me over to their house. It's really easy. It's really forgiving. And that mojo sauce can go on grilled fish. It can go on roast chicken. It doesn't have to go on that calabasa, but it's basically just slicing and roasting squash in the oven and then making a really easy sauce with garlic, citrus juice, oregano, and that,
oh my gosh, that all sounds so good. The book is such a treasure. I really, really hope people pick it up. And like Padma said, if you're in New York, come hang out with us on Monday night at Symphony Space. You can get tickets at symphonyspace.org. One last question. I know this might be the hardest question I'm asking you, but one of the things I love about you is you just always seem to know how to respond to what's going on in the world. And a lot of us look to you for just what to do. Today's a particularly hard day. We recorded this a little early. SNAP benefits might be disappearing for millions of people across the country. Everything that's going on, like you referenced with ICE. For somebody who's feeling all this deeply but doesn't know what to do you have any advice?
Yeah, I mean, by the way, it's a hard question. And a lot of times, as I said earlier, I just don't know what to say or do. And it just all seems futile. But I think being really local and being really fundamental and simple with your movements is helpful. What I mean specifically about that is, yes, we're losing a lot of SNAP benefits. If you have extra in your pantry, please Google and find a food pantry or a shelter that you can donate to. Things you wouldn't think of. Like, we all have so many bottles of hot sauce in our fridge door or in our pantry that we'll never use. Hot sauce and spices and things like that are the things that get donated least to the Bowery Mission. My friend Susan Sarandon works there all the time, and she's like, the food is so bland, and what do we do? So the things that you think of as maybe paltry to someone else are really useful. So that's one thing you can do on a regular basis. Thanksgiving is coming up. Volunteer to serve at a shelter or a food bank. But another thing you can do also is just find some issue, and there's so many, that affects you personally or that you have a connection to. That is how I started my Women's Health Foundation in 2009, the Endometriosis Foundation of America, because I suffered from it. And so I had a lot of fully formed opinions about how it affected my life and my family's life. And so I could speak to it, very deeply. And I didn't know what I was doing. I'm certainly not a doctor or scientist, let alone math or science person, but
you really kickstarted a conversation.
Yeah. And I'm very proud of the work we did. Find something that is resonant with you. When everything seems so big and so insurmountable, you have to just take each day at a time and bite off as much as you can chew. My grandfather and I were really close. My daughter Krishna is named after him. And I remember he said, I'll just leave you with this. He said one thing when I was growing up, and he say, when you go to sleep at night, just ask yourself, what did you do today to water the tree of life? And it doesn't have to be some grand gesture that you publicize. It can be helping your neighbor upstairs with her groceries. It can be offering to take a friend, some soup. It can be anything. Do a 30-day challenge. There's always these challenges that I see online. Do a 30-day challenge where you do an act of random kindness every single day.
So think local, think small. Padma, you are the best. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to see you tonight.
Thank
and
you.
to celebrate.
Thanks for doing it.
Padma's All-American.
Makes me like a little calm that you're going to be there.
Oh, well, it makes me very not calm to be there with you and all these comedians, but I'm going to pull it together by tonight.
It'll be fun. You'll see. We'll have a rocket's good time.
That's it for today's show. Thank you to Julia Roberts, Ayo Edebiri, and Padma Lakshmi. What a trio. Don't forget, Jubilee Early Bird tickets are on sale now through December 31st. Don't delay. If you're a Bomb Squad member or a paid Substack subscriber, check your inbox for your special discount. Our theme song is by the band Tra La La. Joseph Hazen is the studio engineer for Newsstand Studios. Our producers are Catherine Baker and Jenna Sadu. Our executive assistant is Bridget Pittman. And our head of partnerships is Rachel Close. Thanks for listening, everybody. You're the bomb.